I'm glad Shifu sent you. I was beginning to think I'd been forgotten. Fly back there and tell them the real Dragon Warrior is coming home.
Yo, what's up everybody? It's your boy Reggie here, back with you for another video. Welcome back to the House of Animation, where we have discussions and reviews about our favorite anime and cartoons. And in today's discussion, we're going to be talking about what I think is one of the greatest animated trilogies of all time. That's right, we talking about Kung Fu Panda. And I just gotta start off by saying I love Kung Fu Panda. For one, you have amazing action. Two, you have amazing characters and an A-list voice cast. And lastly, you have the American treasure Jack Black playing the main character himself. But there's a saying that's been around for a long time, and as I get older, I feel like it becomes more and more true. And the saying goes, as a kid, you want to be the hero, but as an adult, you start to understand the villain. And after rewatching this movie and really looking at it from Tai Lung's perspective, taking the themes from the story, it really gives me a greater appreciation and actually makes me a little bit more sympathetic toward Tai Lung's character. When I look back at Kung Fu Panda and really look at Tai Lung as a character and look at his story arc, it starts to make me understand that Tai Lung's story is a story of self-worth and the pressures of expectations. Tai Lung's story shows us how detrimental the weight of expectations can be when it's placed on a child, especially by someone they respect or someone they love. And those very expectations can often change the way we view ourselves. And that's how I want to start off this discussion. But I can't even talk about Tai Lung without even mentioning the legendary prison break scene. And when I say legendary, I mean legendary. I would defy anybody in live action or animation to show me a prison scene more hype than this. Like, real talk, this is how you introduce a bad guy. And obviously it's animation, so we have to suspend a certain amount of disbelief. But everything Tai Lung did in this fight scene was amazing because it made the movie feel grounded. It made it feel like every action that he took was something that was actually plausible. From Tai Lung deflecting the arrows and using them as footholds to climb up the wall and jump from place to place. From Tai Lung whooping the ass of quite literally a prison full of massive rhinos, attacking all the enemies and bashing heads along the way. The ironic part from this animated movie is that this fight scene felt way more realistic than live action fight scenes that we see in movies today. This scene shows us that he is someone to be respected and feared. But he wasn't always that way. Through the backstory with Tigress, we start to understand Tai Lung's story and how he became what he is today. Tai Lung was an orphan. He was left on the steps of the Jade Palace as a cub, and he was taken in by Shifu, who raised him and trained him himself. Tigress says that he was Shifu's favorite student. Shifu was his father, and Tai Lung was his son. Shifu saw the talent that Tai Lung had for Kung Fu and loved and admired him for it. Tigress even tells us in the backstory that Shifu would tell Tai Lung that he was destined for greatness. So imagine it from Tai Lung's perspective. This man who found you, raised you, trained you, and treated you as his son tells you that you're special, tells you that you're destined for greatness, but not in an ethereal way that most parents tell their children. No, there's an actual object, an actual physical thing that can prove your greatness. The Dragon Scroll was Tai Lung's way of making his father proud. It was Tai Lung's way of proving to Shifu that everything that he was doing was worth something, that he was worth something. He trains for years. Through blood, sweat, and tears, he finally gets to a level where he feels like he's actually worth something, where he actually feels like he's earned the Dragon Scroll. And then your father proudly presents you to his teacher, just for his teacher to say, you're not the one. And what does your father do? Nothing. Now, mind you, Oogway was right. He saw the darkness in Tai Lung and knew that he wasn't the Dragon Warrior, but still, look at it from Tai Lung's perspective. All these years, all this hard work, and my father didn't even fight for me. He didn't even stick up for me. And through his hate and rage, yeah, he destroyed a village in the valley. Now, this isn't me excusing Tai Lung's actions. He's an adult and he did what he did, but regardless, I can understand why he would feel hurt. He did all of this just to get acceptance from his dad, just to hear his dad say that he was proud. But you don't gotta take it from me. This isn't me speculating here. In the most emotional fight in the whole movie, Tai Lung says it himself.
I rotted in jail for 20 years because of your weakness.
Obeying your master is not weakness.
You knew I was the Dragon Warrior. You always knew. But when Oogway said otherwise, what did you do? What did you do? Nothing.
You were not meant to be the Dragon Warrior. That was not my fault.
Not your fault. Who filled my head with dreams? Who drove me to train until my bones cracked? Who denied me my destiny?
Shifu just says that he was listening to his master when Oogway said Tai Lung wasn't the Dragon Warrior and it's not his fault. And that's when all of the emotions from Tai Lung comes out.
What I ever did, I did to make you proud. Tell me how proud you are, Shifu. Tell me. Tell me!
This man Tai Lung is literally yelling, screaming for acceptance, begging his dad just to tell him one time that he was proud. And then a miracle happens. Shifu does the one thing that every kid wishes they could hear from their parent. He apologizes.
I have always been proud of you. From the first moment, I've been proud of you. And it was my pride that blinded me. I loved you too much to see what you were becoming. What I was turning you into. I'm sorry.
And you can see for a few seconds all the hate from Tai Lung's face, all of the rage that he built over the years just fades away, and for a few seconds he becomes Shifu's son again. But it's too late. Tai Lung spent 20 years in jail with nothing but his anger and his rage, his sadness and disappointment, and an I'm sorry is just not gonna cut it. Tai Lung's entire identity is wrapped around the fact that he wasn't worthy, and the Dragon Scroll would prove that he was special. The Dragon Scroll would make him special. And that's why I love when Po and Tai Lung finally meet and have their fight at the end of the movie, because you expect it to be some balls to the wall amazing kung fu fight like every other fight we have seen throughout the movie, but it's actually the most unique, most fun, most comedic, most campy, and that's not because of Tai Lung. That's because it's who Po is. It really shows off the duality between Tai Lung and Po's story, because you have fathers with certain expectations for their sons. You have sons who live in fear that they'll never live up to their father's expectations. The weight of those expectations and how they can shape your view of yourself and the various paths that it can take you down. That's why I love the scene when Po's at his lowest and he's talking to his dad, because his dad unknowingly tells him the secret of the Dragon Scroll. Something that Po didn't understand when he first saw it, something that Shifu didn't understand, and something that Tai Lung doesn't understand now. All of these great kung fu masters couldn't understand the secret of the Dragon Scroll, but Po's goofy noodle making dad did. That no one or no thing can make you special. You're special because you believe it within yourself. Now, that's not to say that you don't have to put in the work. Po trained and practiced and went through hell with Shifu, just like Tai Lung did. The difference is that Tai Lung needed something to prove that he was special, and Po didn't. He just had to believe it. Shifu and Tai Lung's story is a sad one, because who among us haven't felt the pressure of a parent or a loved one, haven't allowed their depictions or expectations of us view the way that we view ourselves, and feel like if we didn't reach those expectations, expectations if we didn't meet those milestones, that we wouldn't be making that person proud. This is a cautionary story, a story about expectations and self-worth, a story about fathers and their sons. But most importantly, it's a story that shows us that you should never let someone or something determine if you're special. You have to understand that your self-worth can't be given to you, but it's earned by creating and acknowledging the worth within yourself. This is why I love Tai Lung, and this is why I love Kung Fu Panda as a story. But with that, I got nothing left for this video. So, peace.